Have a look at Hattie Shupin. He is your 2024 Arnold Classic Champion, and dare I say, he is one of the best Arnold Classic Champions that there's ever been. How do you think that he would stack against, say, I don't know, the last 10 years of Arnold Classic Champions? It just so happens that you guys wanted to see this one. 58% of you guys voted to see this one. Me rank the last 10 years of Arnold Classic Champions. Get this video up to 500 likes. We'll have a look at all of those other ones. We'll even have a look at that Art Atwood one. Why not? Why not? So, before I begin, sit back, relax, pop your popcorn. It's going to be a nice long little feature, or if you use it for cardio, it's going to be a good cardio session. Superset Man did a similar video where he ranked the last 10 years of champions. This one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a huge comparison. But before I begin that comparison, I will list off all of the champions, and then I will explain one little difference. One difference. Here is the first champion we are dealing with, Dexter the Blade Jackson. He won the Arnold Classic title in 2015, and that's the one difference that I was talking about. Superset Man, he did this video last year, so he began with 1 year prior. Dennis Wolf, I believe. On to the next year, 2016, we will be using Kai Green's 2016 Arnold Classic version. So like I said, we're going to do a huge comparison. Next, champion in line, the late great Cedric McMillan. He took the title in 2017. Wow, what a great champion. 2018, we have William Bonac. And another difference. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I was a little disingenuous. There's two differences in this comparison, or in this video. William Bonac, 2018. I'll explain in a minute. 2019, Brandon Curry. And this will be another, I think you guys know where I'm going with this one. We're going to be using the 2018 Bonac and the 2019 Brandon Curry. Because in 2020, William Bonac took the title again, and he was not as good. So in this huge comparison, we're not going to use two William Bonacs. We're going to use his best version, his best Arnold Classic win, which was 2018, by a mile. By a mile. 2021, Nick Walker. This is where Arnold, he kind of just threw the trophy at Nick, and he amscrayed. He didn't want to pose with Nick. He didn't want to do much with Nick. Anyway, 2022, we have Brandon Curry. Brandon Curry won the title twice in this span. Now, Dexter Jackson did too, but we're not going to use those versions. It was before. But, yeah, he was around forever. Brandon Curry, most certainly by a mile, just like Bonac, this was not his best version, the 2022. 2023, we have Samson Dauda, one of the larger Arnold Classic champions, for sure. He is very, very good. Will he stack up against the other champions? Who knows? Who knows? I guess time will tell. And, of course, I began this one by telling you guys, Hattie Shupin is your current Arnold Classic champion. So this is going to be a good one. Ring-a-ding-ding. This is how we're going to do this. We're going to begin each pose by showing all 8. That's right, because we're minus one version of Bonac, one of Curry. So 8 versions all at once. And hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We will be zooming in on certain callouts. I just wanted, for novelty's sake, to have all of these guys in their respective order. I mean, my goodness. What great champions. Oh, did you guys know? Today is Liam Neeson's birthday. Liam Neeson. He's in his 70s, I think. And speaking of old timers, my good friend Steve. Steve, he's getting old. It's his birthday too. 40 years old, Steve. Oh my goodness, man. Why so old? I'm just joking. I'm older. That's fun to make fun of people that are younger. But anyway, yes. Anyway, on with the video. Love you, big man. Love you, big man. Yes, I mean, you can take and choose if you want a muscularity contest or if you want the aesthetics. It was a difficult one to break these guys up, I'm telling you right now. Was not an easy venture, so have a look at the lineup, who sticks out to you guys, and then, my decision's not going to be the same as a lot of your guys's, but this is my top 3. Head of all of the gentlemen, I have Brandon Curry, Samson Dauda, and Hadi Chupin. And Hadi Chupin, his midsection, his wheels, may be the best in this bunch. His arms improved so gosh darn much that I would suggest that he's he's right there with Curry almost. Almost. Curry's midsection, unbelievable. Stuff of legends for sure. Now, I would suggest the structure of Curry, yes, smaller, but I think he would get an edge over Samson Dauda due to the arms. Now, the wheels, of course, Samson, he is better on that aspect, but we can't really judge these like this out loud. You guys can have your opinions. I'll have mine. I think Hadi Chupin is winning this little triad of destruction. With Curry, I think getting a safe second place. And, yeah, Samson in third. Now you go to the next call out, and we're going to begin right off with controversy. I'm sure a lot of you guys have either Nick Walker, Kai Green, or Cedric McMillan ahead of all 3 of the other guys. But, time ticks, guys. You have to make your decision. And it was the midsections of Kai and Nick Walker. Nick's pretty good there, cut. But, the other guys, they were just, and Samson's structure and the wheels, my soul. Kai, a combination of his midsection and his forearms. Love the guy. But Cedric McMillan, near perfect. But I did notice one thing here. His biceps, his arms, a little unsymmetrical, as well as his wheels. And we're going to notice that throughout all the front shots anyway. One of his quads, nowhere near the size of the other, but his just unbelievable torso is the best in the entire bunch. If you don't believe me, rewind and look at when they're all in a lineup. His torso by far overshadows everybody's. So close here, might give an edge to Nick, to be honest. Very difficult to say. I'm going to have to revisit a lot of these for the actual scoring, but here's the last call out, with all due respect to these great champions. But they are all Arnold champions. Somebody has to place last. Somebody's going to be first. Dexter, you could argue that he has the best arms in the entire group. Maybe not quite as perfectly symmetrical as they once were, but still enough to say that maybe the best arms in the bunch. Of course, Curry's were good too. But I think his midsection and maybe the wheels could have been the reasoning behind putting him in the last call out with William Bonac, who upper body wise might not be the best at all. I'm trying to be respectful. I love these 2 guys. I love all these bodybuilders, all these Arnold Classic champions. But lower half, kind of the opposite of Dexter with the arms. If you had Dexter's arms, the smaller midsection, maybe less separation, but Dexter's midsection is still small. 2 great bodybuilders, but in my opinion, in the front double, they're getting 7th and 8th. In what order? I'll figure out in a minute there. Let's go to the next shot, front lat spread, and to keep you guys somewhat entertained, Bucka Bucka and Woozle Wazzle. You get both of them. Very difficult in most of these shots. The front lat spread was a little easier to at least separate the best from the not so best. But some of these shots, as you'll see, pretty hard to judge from first to last. But you can see, obviously, some guys look tremendous even from afar. And some guys are not going to be in that first call out. Who is in the first call out? These 3 great champions. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are confused. It is not Brandon Curry, Samson Dauda, and Hadi Chupin for the entire matchup in the first call out. Everybody's going to be in different call outs. There's not just 3 guys in the call out. It just so happens that these 3 dudes were the best in the front double, and Brandon Curry, Samson Dauda, and Hadi Chupin, in my opinion, are the best in the front lat spread. Brandon Curry, he lacks the legs, I'll admit. He's got a big presentation. He's You know, he's got a nice frame for a shorter guy. He looks big. But maybe last in line in the wheels when you compare him with Samson and Hattie Shupin. Hattie's unbelievable. Look how dry he is. Samson's so gosh darn big. I'm going to give Curry first, though, because his upper body is just so unbelievable. And his condition's not bad from the front. Samson, is his upper body good enough to beat Hattie? I don't know. Hattie's pretty dry there. So pretty close between them two. Like I said, I'm going to have to revisit a lot of these. Samson's big. Hattie's ripped. Both look tremendous in the front lat spread. Here's your second call out. I was surprised, to be honest with you, that Kai Green and Cedric McMillan found themselves in this position. Kai Green in 2016. I love this guy. He once commented on my video. But I have to be honest. His physique in 2016 was not his best. He was premium in, say, 2012. Not 212. He was never 212. He's born 220. But yes, his midsection, not so favorable. And Cedric, again, his wheel. You can definitely see his wheel. But I think he's doing enough to defeat, say, William Bonac. Is he not? Is he beating Bonac? Well, I think so. I think so. Here's your last two. Again, poor Dexter. Tremendous biceps in that front double, but it just, the physique-wise, the guy was how old here? 60? He was definitely no spring chicken, even in 2015. But yes, Nick Walker places 8th in the front lat spread. We love you, Nick. Go to the side chest, and you might as well keep them all on the screen in the side chest, because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. I like to try to make the best decisions possible for you guys, so you don't make fun of me in the comment section. Of course, it's okay. It's okay. As long as, as long as you give a good long comment that gets a lot of thumbs ups and things of that nature, I don't mind. But this side chest, you tell me who's winning, who's placing last. Now, I did trim it down a little. So we got rid of a couple of guys there. But we have Dexter Jackson, who looks awesome. Cedric McMillan beside him. Upper body wise, he's dominant. Lower half, not so much. William Bonac, very complete, very conditioned. Awesome. Nick Walker, also very, like William Bonac-esque. Samson, he's big, but I don't know. I mean, so is Cedric, and that upper body of Cedric is 10 times as good and aesthetically pleasing. Brandon Curry from the side. Look at the size of his wheels. They're bigger than Nick Walker's, for goodness sakes. So very difficult in the side chest between these 6 caricatures. I mean, you could very well say Cedric is winning. Cedric, just because of his big man's chest. But Brandon Curry, he's got a big man's chest too. A nice flow, aesthetics. One, like I said, gonna have to revisit this one. But who did I trim? Who did I exclude from this? Here's your last 2. What? Kai Green? How could he be in this position? His arms are probably bigger than anybody, and look at the size of his legs. I mean, why would I put... Oh my. Oh boy. Cassis. That's the biggest Cassis I've ever seen. And no Cassis at all on Hattie Shupin. He's got the smallest midsection I've ever seen. A Cassis means a belly. Cassis belly. Kai Green's got a huge bucket of chicken. We're talking, everything under the sun this guy put inside of him. I mean, wow. Beach ball. But aside from that, he's flattening Hattie. Midsection matters, people. Here's the side tricep, the next side pose. And much like that side chest, there are a lot of guys here that could argue, or you could argue, that are winning. But in my opinion, there's a definite disadvantage in the way certain guys are striking the pose. You can see Dexter the Blade Jackson, even Kai Green. He's got the muscle, but you can definitely see it's not very aesthetically pleasing. And Samson was not holding his arms straight. I don't know why. Kevin Levrone used to do that too. Don't know why that is. So having said that, this is the guys that I decided on a top 4. So I excluded a couple of the guys because of their positioning, things of that nature. Again, Cedric, his wheels not the best, but man oh man, I'll be darned if he's not the best in that upper body. Bonac, he looks tremendous. Curry does too. From the side, very impressed with Curry. Nick Walker, he's a battler, conditioned, least aesthetic between him and Curry and Bonac. And then you gotta kind of put Cedric in there because of his upper body, but you gotta place him low because of his legs. Do you not? I mean, calves included. Look at Bonac's. Huge. Huge. So that's your top 4. This is your second call out. So 4 in one, 4 in the other. And like I said, it's positioning. Dexter Jackson, he's getting last. He least impressive as far as the tricep, things of that nature, and the positioning. Kai Green, he has all the muscle in the world here. Conditioning too, but positioning sucks. Midsection at least is tight. He might be winning this group. And Samson, not that impressed with his midsection from the side. I don't know what it is. I love the guy, but with a peeled midsection, the guy would be much more impressive. I mean, look at Hattie. Not the most impressive as far as the arm, tricep, size-wise, but I mean, from the side, he executes these shots to perfection, and the best midsection in the entire lineup, by far. So, maybe first or maybe second in this group. Let us roll right along to the back. The back shots, guys. Now, this is where size, the width of the back, I should suggest, definitely matters. But also the deep condition of the hamstrings and the glutes. So it's more than just a who's the widest battle. So without further ado, this is your first call out. The best backs of the Arnold Classic Champions in the last 10 years. We have Dexter, who looks perfect, condition-wise, symmetry, proportions. Kai Green, I have to say, the rear lat, he was a little off. He's not quite symmetrical, but having said that, he's a hoss. He's huge. William Bonac, he is a piece of machinery that is not very easily defeated in these back shots. Lower half, he might even be the best. Looks a little drier than Kai, doesn't he? More symmetrical as well. Hattie Shupin, his big back is so impressive. Might even give him the overall win in the back lat spread, I would suggest. I mean, condition-wise, yeah, I think he might be doing enough. Bonac, very impressive also. And Kai, if he was more symmetrical, I think he'd be more than enough for everybody. Is he a little watery? Yeah. I think Dexter might be getting just beat up a little bit as far as size is concerned. He's good, though. He's good. Premium stuff. Here's your next call out. Oh, we excluded one of the gentlemen, I see. Yeah. We have Cedric McMillan, Brandon Curry, and Samson Dauda. It was the lower half. The lower half was not competing with any of the other guys. Dexter, much more conditioned. Even Kai, just a beast. Brandon Curry, I was giving him a pass on the front. The quads were nice and separated, things of that nature. From the side, he was actually quite impressive, but from the back, a little bit weak, I have to say. Calves, wow. Samson beating him on that aspect, but Samson was not opening up in this lat spread at the Arnold Classic. Gosh darn it. Cedric, it's a toss-up between him and Cedric. Cedric, better back, but lower half. I think Samson, much drier, much more conditioned. And I guess Curry, even though those calves are awfully small. Now, who are we leaving out here? Poor Nick. I mean, gosh darn it. God bless the guy. He wasn't able to open up the rear lat spread at the Arnold Classic that year. Everything else was perfect. His rear double, as we'll see in a second, was awesome, but we're going to give him 8th. We're going to go ahead with the 8th. This could hurt his overall scoring, guys. Here's the rear double. Interesting. We will not waste much more time. Have a peek. Go ahead, scan who looks good. I mean, Kai looks impressive here in this lineup. Much more impressive than he did in that rear lat. Here's your first call out. And I believe we're going to trim this a little bit more. I think Bonac, lower half wise, he's doing enough to pretty much beat Nick, pretty much everybody except for Kai. Kai's just too huge. Is the condition enough? I think Kai, we're going to put these two guys 1 and 2. Kai, he's huge. It's almost a lights out situation. But Bonac, he's hanging on. His condition is tighter, I would suggest. No doubt. But is Kai that much bigger? He has his arms in the equation. Bicep peaks. Back itself. Yeah, we'll go ahead with Kai. Based on that just sheer mass. But Bonac, I think an easy, close second. Now, when you look at the other guys, yeah, I mean, Bonac, his lower half was just tremendous. But Dexter, he's good. Nick Walker, he's great too. Is Hattie beating Nick? Lower half, I would say yes. Not the calves, but hamstrings, glutes. But the back itself, I think Nick, arms as well. Dexter, he's a different creature altogether. All three of these guys, pretty substantially different. Donald Trump. But yes, calves also. I mean, if it's close, Dexter's not going to win on that aspect. And Hattie not the best in that region either or. Who's your last 3 guys? We have I think it's the lower half of, and maybe the back itself for Cedric and Curry and poor Samson. Samson's so huge and dry as well from the back. I mean, he looks good. I think it's pretty close between Cedric and Samson. We might just as well say 1 and 1 for each of these guys in each back shots. And Curry, you got to think, much smaller guy. His back looks maybe even bigger than these two giants, so might even give him the victory in both of the back shots between these two guys, sandwiched between them in every back shot. Here's the abs and thigh. We're almost to an end in this one. Now, when it comes to the abs and thigh, I'm sure most of you guys know by now, the ones that watch my comparisons, that aesthetics mean a great deal in a pose like this. But at the end of the day, it is still bodybuilding, so muscle and condition count. Here's my most desirables in the abs and thigh. We have Dexter, we have Cedric, Curry, and Hattie Shupin. Hattie Shupin, maybe not the most aesthetic out of the group, but he still looks great. And he is the most separated, the most conditioned. I mean, this midsection, this would rival Sean Ray's, for goodness sakes. Aside from the ab separation, I would have given it to Brandon Curry. He looks awesome from head to toe. He just does not have that separation. Nice V-taper as well. Even beating Cedric McMillan on that aspect. Good old Cedric, his quads actually don't look too bad in this shot. He's flexing his smaller one. Midsection, I think enough to defeat Dexter. That and the quads, I think the guy's just so gosh darn big. So Dexter, maybe last in line in this little grouping. Should we put him into the next group? How would Dexter fare against the next two guys, which are Kai Green and Nick Walker? Nick has the tools here. He just doesn't have the genetics to defeat, say, your Hattie Shupins or your Brandon Currys. And Kai Green, you could argue that he's really good in this, but in 2016 the argument was starting to lose. his midsection was getting a little bit out of whack. And like I said, aesthetics, very important in the abs and thigh. And Dexter, he still pulls it off. Still pulls it off well. Here's your last two, your 7th and 8th. We have good old Bonac, who, like I said earlier about Nick, gosh darn it, bless the guy. He just not built for the abs and thigh, and I don't know what Samson's problem is in the abs and thigh. I thought he hit a good one before, just doesn't look good. So these guys tied for last. I'll figure it out. We made it. Here is the last pose, the most muscular, and pretty much like the side chest. You could argue any one of these guys is winning this shot. Dexter with his traps there. I mean, Kai with his width. Cedric with his height. Bonac so complete. And Curry looks so good. Walker's a beast. And Samson, it's bad timing for the shot, I think. He could look better in that. And Hattie Shupin, just as peeled as the day is long. Peeled. You like that? Peeled. So peeled. He was. So was Sean Roden. Should have threw Sean Roden in this one. But ultimately, I had to break it up, and this is your first call out, and this one's going to be as debatable as the side chest. Debatable. I think I had it right the first time. Curry, upper body wise, he's got some aesthetics in there. Best arms, by far. Looks good. Lower half, I was going to say last in line, probably second to last. Dexter might not have the wheels of the other guy, but he has traps, look like elephant, never mind. They look very impressive. Biggest traps I think I've ever seen. So it's a different take on the most muscular. Could be first in this grouping, could be last. Hattie Shupin, so shredded. Nick Walker's shredded too. Much better arms. Hattie's got a better chest, better abs. So you can kind of take your pick between those two. And Curry, he's bringing something different here. And when it's close like that, you gotta throw the aesthetics in too, right? But very, very close. Here's your second call out. Kai Green, he could have been in that other grouping, but looked a little underwhelming as far as the condition is concerned. Chest-wise, maybe not the best pose for Kai, which is weird. Cedric, unlike the abs and thigh, his quad went back to being unsymmetrical. And William Bonac, I expected a better shot. I mean, he's great. His arms are there. Clavicle a little bit narrow. I think when it comes to the most muscular, a good wide clavicle really helps. And as Samson and Cedric do have that, I don't know, man. I think Samson might even get last in this one. Or maybe Cedric because of the wheels, but his upper body. Cedric McMillan, upper body wise, this guy might have been the best bodybuilder of all time. The way he was built, no backs included. Hey, his back was decent, but I mean, the front, the big man's chest, abs, and I mean, the size of the guy, one of the great ones. So, before I reveal my placings, I have to remind you guys, this is just a picture comparison. These are just for fun, not meant to be taken too seriously. But I mean, we do have fun with them. And this is the placings, and you'll notice there's a couple of ties, and I'll fix that up in a second. But we have Brandon Curry winning this one. And also, when I do one-on-one comparisons, I focus more on condition. Would it be that way? Would Brandon really win this one due to condition? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to say. I'm just basically going off points, who won each pose, things of that nature. So Brandon in first, and in second place, Hattie Shupin. Might have thought Hattie would have beat everybody here. And wow, we have Bonac in third, and Cedric McMillan in fourth. I cannot believe that. See, one-on-one, that probably would not be the case, but when you do lineups The things change. It makes it more difficult. And tied for fifth is Nick Walker and Kai Green. How come Kai did so poorly? Kai should have did better. I think it was the midsection. But having said that, most of the experts would laugh and say Kai Green would smoke all these guys. Hey, it is what it is. This is just my opinion, I guess. And tied for sixth is Dexter the Blade. I apologize, Dexter the Blade Jackson and Samson Dauda. Can you believe that one? So at the end of the day, I might give an edge to Nick Walker over Kai Green because the glaring omission, the midsection was a lot in that side pose. And maybe more symmetrical in the rear line was definitely Kai over Nick. So an argument that says Kai could have won against Nick, but I kind of like Nick in the comparison. I'm sure you guys will hate me on that, but gotta give my honest opinion. And maybe Samson over Dexter the Blade Jackson, with all due respect. The great Dexter the Blade Jackson. Still going strong. How old is he now? He's in his 50s. That's for darn sure. Well, that's just it, guys. That's just my opinion. Just a fun one, like I said. If it was a real comparison, obviously the condition would matter. Would Brandon Curry really win this one? Hey, look at the placings at the Olympia in 2019. First, second, and third. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, see? Hit thumbs up on the video. And please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'd love to inch towards that 50,000 subscriber mark. This video took a little bit longer than your usual one, but obviously there's 8 guys. It's going to take 8 times the amount of the time. But labor of love. Hit thumbs up. Subscribe. Have a nice one, guys.